which this guy Alexander tries. I don't even know why he's in this argument right now, because he doesn't identify as a woman. He identifies as non-binary. If you're non-binary, I'm sorry, but I don't think you belong in any spaces except for the ones that go with what you were assigned at birth. I don't care if people decide that trans women can go in certain women's spaces. I think when you're non-binary, since you don't identify as that, then you default to what you actually are, and then you belong with the men, Alexander. You have a hairy chest, you have facial hair. It's like, what are we doing right now? I mean, if you're gonna be in women's spaces, which somebody mentioned this too, and it does make a lot of sense, but the reason that it makes sense if passable people, which I know some people don't agree, but I'm just saying, and this was an actual woman that said this, a female that said this on a thread. She's actually very nice. We're friends on Twitter, but she was saying that she really feels that you should have to be passable for whatever bathroom it is you're going into, just so you don't set off alarms when people see you. Like if you are genetically female, born a woman, but you have taken testosterone and now you have full beard or beard and look like a man, then you no longer belong in the women's bathroom, because then men that are born male can now slip into the women's bathroom because they can say they're trans men. So it should go by what you look like, which is what I agreed with from the beginning. But I don't know, and it doesn't seem like cooler heads are talking about it. It really does seem like the activists versus the Terfs. And while I understand why there was a reason for the Terfs and understand why originally there was a reason for the activists, at this point I honestly do feel like the Terfs, the true Terfs, and the activists are actually getting in the way of progress, because all they seem to want to do is argue and not at least even talk to each other, which I can understand if you don't want to talk it out with a person like me when it comes to hammering out the details of it, because I don't technically have a dog in the fight. But it's also the reason that I feel like I'm the perfect person to talk about it in a platform like this, is because I don't have a dog in the fight. So I'm telling you from an outsider's perspective that actually does genuinely care about both parties. I care very much about women's safety, women's concerns. I have a mother, I have sisters, I have a lot of female friends, so I very much am invested from that part of it. And then when it comes to trans people in general, having trans friends my entire life now, I care about trans people too. So I, as a third party perspective that's far enough removed from it to not really feel the same emotion that sometimes I can understand both having, except for I really don't feel like trans people are really having that much emotion towards it. Like somebody asked me the other day, how do you tell the difference between a transsexual person and a transgender person that's just faking it so that they can get access to women's spaces? Well, I would say that transgender people that are faking it, or AGPs, autogynephile for anybody that's not familiar, that are faking it just to get access to women's bathrooms, it's exactly that. Transsexuals are getting into the bathrooms and nobody's noticing, and the other are trying to get in the bathroom. So I would say that's the difference, is it's in the wording. If you're trying to get in a bathroom, then you probably don't look like you need to look to have access to that bathroom, and that's how you tell the difference. When you're ready to be in there, it'll magically unlock itself, which I joke halfway, but at the same time, when you're ready to be in there, you'll look like you should be in there and you won't raise any flags. But for now, why do you keep adding to the argument? Because what it's going to do is eventually, I do feel like women will win that, as far as at least the ones that really don't look like they're supposed to look. I do feel like at a point it is going to be illegal for anything that does not present as female to have access to even a woman's bathroom, which is something that I agree with. But I do believe that at a point it will be legal for a shop owner or a business owner to say, hey, let me see your ID if you don't look like you belong in the women's bathroom. And that is going to hurt a lot of real women's feelings when they realize they don't look enough like women to have access to these spaces, which is a whole different argument. But anyway, so my point to all that is, in certain cases, no matter what you say, somebody's going to be mad at you, and somebody's going to think you're not being respectful, and somebody's going to think you should have said something a different way. So there is going to come a point with a lot of us just everyday neutral people that don't really care about about what you guys want to fight about, that is just going to be like, okay, I'm just going to say whatever I say exactly the way I say it, and I'm not going to worry about anybody's feelings, which is kind of the point that I've gotten to with a lot of this, where it's just like, all right, well, if I'm never going to be right, then I guess I'm just going to be wrong in whatever way that I want to be wrong, and everybody else can sort their feelings out around it. That's actual women, that's trans women, transgender, non-binary, gay, straight, everybody just feel however you feel about the things I say, and understand that I think all of you are stupid. That's what I think, and I have no problem figuring out which bathroom I'm going to go to, because I'm going to go to the bathroom that aligns with what I was born anyway. So for those of you that want people's support, why don't you stop acting like an idiot and an asshole if you really want people's support? And that goes for both sides. And I know sometimes women get like, how dare you're being an asshole, just like they are in a lot of cases. Stop acting like it's misogyny to let you know that you are being an asshole as well. At the end of the day, you are a human being, you're acting like an asshole, and I don't care what you are, I'm gonna call that out. I don't care how you identify, I don't care about your orientation, I don't care about your sex. If you're being an asshole, you're being an asshole, and guess what? Being an asshole doesn't have a sex or gender. Every single human being, every animal on this planet has an asshole. So, asshole is something I can call absolutely everyone, and you're all assholes if you ask me. And that's the way I'm gonna address everybody, is a bunch of assholes. I'm on nobody's side. To me, it's the assholes versus the non-assholes. And the assholes should all have their own bathroom and have to share with each other. And there's no line, you just elbow it out. And whoever's the strongest is the one that makes it to the bathroom. I guarantee none of you are gonna go to the bathroom because all of you are weak.